kia ora, ko diaho, hara mai, welcome to Homemade Let's Cook. Today we are making some meringues. Now we're going to make some of them into party meringues and we're going to make some of them into a bit more grown-up meringues. The tricky part will probably be in the decoration, but depending on what you've got available will depend on what we can create. Now I've made a bit of a head start, and just to make a note that we're just making a half batch today. So I've got 2 egg whites and I've taken the opportunity to beat them up already. You can see I have formed stiff peaks here. They were beating for about 5-7 minutes, something like that. And now we're going to add half a cup of caster sugar, and we're going to do that a little bit at a time. I've got the oven on very slow, which is 120, so that's not very high at all, and we're going to bake these for about 45 minutes. The thing with meringues is that you need to cool them while they are in the oven, but we are going to decorate them before they go in, so that's going to be a little bit of fun. So just excuse me while I speed up me adding this sugar a little bit at a time, and it's caster sugar we're using as well. So I'll see you again soon. So that's all our sugar incorporated, and now I'm going to leave the beater on for at least 5 minutes. If you've got a few more minutes to spare, leave it on for at least 10 minutes. I'll see you soon. Okay, so I'm back. So we've got a lovely thick meringue mixture here. And first of all, we're going to make some mice. So I'm going to bring you in a bit closer. In the meantime, I'm going to put just some of the mixture into my piping bag. And this particular piping nozzle has just a regular round nozzle. Now, if you don't have a piping bag, you can use a plastic bag and then just snip off the corner and pop in a nozzle. And even if you don't have a nozzle, you can just, after you've cut that bag, just use that as your nozzle, just the open end. So I'll bring you in a bit closer and we'll take a little bit of a closer look at the shapes that we're going to make, or try to make. First, let's try some mice. So I've got baking paper, and I've also got some lightly dusted corn flour on here. So mice, let's start with the tail area and just loosen it off for the snout. So we'll show that again. So we've got, that's the back end, drag it forward a little and then just loosen them off. Alright, so some of those look a little bit more mice-like than others. Now I found I've got some sprinkles here, and I'm going to use them to create some eyes on our mice. Now if you had some licorice, that would be perfect. See, it's a little bit tricky just grabbing the right things from this pottle, but we'll do the best we can. Now I've got some slightly longer pieces here, so I'm going to attempt to use them as the tail. As I say, if you had licorice, that would be fantastic because you would be able to cut that. Of course, you can put more decoration on here than we're doing. You can also make little snails if you want to as well. As your hand gets a little bit sticky, we'll do the best we can with what we've got. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do some, actually, might just see if we can make a snail for you. Let's try and make a snail. So we start off with the head, come down the body, and just turn it around like so. Try another snail. So that's the head. And down to make the body, and just zoom it around. So for our snail, you just need a couple of eyes. And a couple of antennae. There's a rogue eye there. We'll pop him on this one. See what we can find in here. There we go. Oops. A little bit extra on there. Of course you could add extra decoration to each of these. They don't have to be strictly what we say. I'm now changing to a fluted nozzle. With this nozzle attached, we're going to make some hedgehogs. So we're going to start with a really broad base. And loosen off. Now, it might take some practice for this one, for me included. See if you can give him a nice pointy nose, if you can. They're not that convincing, but they'll be okay. So what we're going to use for the hedgehogs is I've got, be great if you had some almonds, but you can use little bits of peanut for your little spines for your hedgehogs. Which would make them look very good. Of course, you want to use decorations that are edible. Of course, we want to put some eyes on these guys as well. Not quite sure what that bit ended up being. I'll take that out. This looks like a nose on that one, doesn't it? So these guys are ready to go, and if you've got any mixture left over and you want to make something a little bit different, just experiment with doing some piping with your fluted bag. So into the oven around 45 minutes, but do keep an eye on them. And then when they're done, just turn off the oven, leave the oven ajar and let them cool in there. And then we'll get a chance to look at them when they're done. Well, I do hope you enjoyed making those party meringues with us today. Thanks for joining us. Please join us again. Ka kite.